Welcome everybody. This your boy KG. We here live and direct with free knowledge. So this is the name of the podcast. It's gonna be the first episode. I'm here to give you guys some information about what you can look forward to tuning in to the podcast every week. I'm gonna be giving you guys a lot of information. So just to start things off, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to jump on and listen to my podcast and see exactly what it's about. And with this first episode, that's my goal. I want to give you guys the background of what I'm going to be talking about from a week to week basis or even the day to day. However, the spirit leads me to put up different videos, and it could be, definitely for sure looking at one or two a week. But if, like I said, if I run into a situation and I want to share it with you guys and make sure you guys can get some free knowledge, then that's exactly what I'll do. Again, like I said, my name is Courtney Goff, but everybody in my family calls me KG. Now that you guys are tuned into the podcast show Free Knowledge, you guys are now considered family. So I thank you guys for tuning in. And the first thing I would like you guys to do is definitely click that subscribe button. And while you're going through listen to this podcast, definitely leave your comments and let me know what your thoughts are, because I definitely check and review those to just kind of get that feedback to see exactly what you guys want, see if this is something that you guys are feeling, and I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys exactly what you need. A little background on myself. I'm a husband, a father, a brother, a friend, and I'm also, most importantly, a man of God. So a lot of the different information that I'm going to be talking about on this podcast is going to be from that perspective, with that foundation of knowing, whatever it is that we're talking about, I'm going to have that mindset. I'm going to be rooted in that foundation of, from that perspective, okay, from a man of God's perspective, how am I going to answer these questions or talk about these different things? But keep in mind, that's not going to narrow the gate of things that we're going to talk about. We're going to be real. We're going to be raw on this podcast. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. And I'm also going to take feedback from you guys. As I said before, you guys just going through and leaving comments. It might be something that I haven't touched on that you guys like, hey man, KG, this is something I'm struggling with, or this is something that I have a conversation with my guys or my girls. Hey, look, can you talk about it? This can open up that dialogue for everybody to get the conversation rolling and just bringing different perspectives, and then everybody coming together and just talking about it and just seeing how it falls, and at the end of the day, making sure that we're all progressing as one. And that's the beautiful thing about free knowledge, because it's free. It doesn't charge me anything to talk with you guys. It doesn't charge you anything to click the subscribe button, to leave comments. It's all free. So if you guys have things that you want to talk about, definitely let me know. And like I said, it's going to range from different topics, from parenthood to marriage to relationships, even singleness, um, our current issues that are going on in the world right now, with COVID, injustice. It's a lot of things that we're going to talk about. So I want you guys to definitely tune in and and check it out. It's going to be a weekly thing, and it's going to be a lot of helpful information for you guys. And like I said, it's going to be from a perspective of things that I've learned directly or indirectly. And the next thing that I want to kind of jump into is my journey of getting into podcasting. So to start things off, I know my wife purchased me all this podcast equipment, so I got all my official gear over here, just in case it doesn't sound official to you guys. I got my mic stand, everything all set up. Shout out to my wife; she's so wonderful for just looking out for me and making sure that I got everything that I need. Because this was something that since my birthday, I had kind of been talking about it. Actually, before my birthday, and she picked up on those hints, and she got me a podcast set up for my birthday. Now, keep in mind, my birthday was back in March, so as you can tell, we're way past March. We're all the way in May, almost June now. So I kind of been on the fence with, like, okay, do I really want to do podcasting? Is this something that I want to do? I don't even know how to do it. How can I figure this out? And shout out again to her. She calmed me down. She's like, yeah, just figure it out. Do your research. All these people are doing it. It can't be too hard. So I did that. I calmed down and did my research, found out exactly what podcast was about, and I got out of that fear. I had this my thought process of like, okay, who's gonna go on? Who's gonna check the podcast? But then again, I had to bring myself back to things that I already know that God has already told me and showed me to do these different things, to just spread the word of God, but then also just spreading knowledge, like positivity, spreading love. And if you know me and you've been around me for any time amount of time, like one of my favorite slogans is love is love. I always feel like if you show love, you're going to get love back. And that's how I am on this podcast. That's how I am in life. I always lead with love, and I expect love in return. And even when I don't get love, it's okay. I'm gonna still show love, because at the end of the day, it's a learning moment for not only myself or the other person that may or may not be showing love. So I say that to say, if there's anything that God has been telling you, especially in this season with COVID and having all of this free time, like you're like, man, what can I be doing? I want to start my business, or, I want to get, my finances in order, or, I want to get my health better. I want to, lose 20 pounds, or I want to just feel healthy. I want to, do different things that have been on your heart, been on your mind, and you've been kind of putting them on the back burner. I'm telling you now to go ahead and go after that. You can do it. You have enough resources. You don't have to look and say, oh, I need this equipment, or I need all that. You can start literally by just yourself with your mindset. So I challenge you, if you're hearing this right now, there's no coincidence that you're hearing this. This is here for you to hear it and receive it. This is confirmation for you in your life. Whatever it is that's on your heart, go for it and go get it right now. So I'm going to just leave that there. So people that need to hear that, they heard that. I hope you receive it and take it and implement it in your life right away, right now. And then lastly, what I'm going to be doing on all my podcast shows is leaving you guys with some takeaways. I want you to leave this conversation and say, okay, what did I get from this conversation that we had? What did I get from this episode with KG? And the first thing that I want you guys to take away is that fear is not real. As I told you guys before, starting this podcast, I had so much fear, and I know that fear is not real, but we're all human at the end of the day. And I had to step back and say, why am I saying that I can't do this? And I had to figure out, like, okay, if God put this before me, there's no reason for me to fear to talk to people, on a podcast. There's no purpose on that. Nobody's here in front of me, but our minds getting to think and have us thinking like, okay, what if only one person listens, or all this different stuff. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, like I said, going back to it, there's no coincidence the people that are going to be listening to the podcast, because God placed you guys there to hear what I'm saying right now. Those specific people are going to hear it, and that has nothing to do with me. So that's when I realized that to take all the worry and fear that I have and just lay it at God's feet, and He's going to take care of the rest. So that's the first thing. Fear is not real. Second thing is focus on the positive things that can happen. A lot of times we see different things that come up in our life and different opportunities, and the first thing we say is like, oh, I can't do that, or I don't have enough money to do that. I don't even have the resources to do that. And we take our mindset so far to focus on the things that we don't have, or what could possibly go wrong, and that we don't even focus on what can happen. That you can have a successful podcast. You can be successful in the real estate business. You can start your own business. You can open your home daycare. Whatever it may be, you can do that. We have to remove from that pessimistic mindset to being more optimistic about the things that we can do in our life. So that's number 2. Focus on what can happen versus what cannot happen, and the things that we don't have, because we already have enough. If we got God, that's the only thing we need. Third thing is big faith. Big faith. This is something that I always speak about to a lot of my family and friends, is having big faith, because, God says that it's just a mustard seed, and if you ever have a chance to hold a mustard seed in your hand or see one, definitely Google it and look it up. It's so small. It's so small. So that just show you right there. Sometimes we feel like we have all the faith in the world, but in actuality, we really don't. And at the end of the day, all it takes is just a little bit of faith. If we just have a little bit of faith, we can do so much. And God says that as well, so it's just like we have to have big faith in God, regardless of what the situation looks like. We have to walk by faith and not by sight, because at the end of the day, a situation could look completely different. And just to kind of be so real and transparent with you guys, I was looking at this podcast thing. I was looking up all these different things, like, okay, I got to pay for a subscription. I got to do this. I got to do that. Like, I don't want to spend all this money. Like, it's just not something that I want to do. This is just a hobby. Just something I do for fun. But what I realized, I was like, I don't need all that stuff. I'm going to just go with what I got. I set up, use my phone, got a little microphone, got it off Amazon for the low. Like, And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna check it out, and there's nothing that gonna come from it but positivity because I know that it's coming from a place of love. I'm not doing it for any other reason but to spread love, to spread positivity to all my family and friends and people I don't even know. So I want to impact people's lives and make everybody feel great after listening to the podcast, where they get to a point where they say, hey man, check out Free Knowledge Podcast. KG, man, he be talking some stuff on there. So that's my ultimate goal. But again, going back to it, is having big faith. You have to have that faith in yourself. And sometimes people say, oh, you might be cocky, but that's not it. I'm cocky in God. I'm confident in God. And I hear a lot of people say on social media and things like that, it's called Godfidence. Like, not confidence, Godfidence. Like, I have confidence in God. Like, not in me. I have confidence in the God that's inside of me that is going to do big things. Even when I come to a point where I might be worried and I'm like, oh, how am I going to figure this out? I know that God is going to make this all work out for me, for my good. So those are my 3 things that I'm leaving with you guys. Fear is not real. Focus on what can happen versus what cannot happen. And then lastly is big faith. And just to kind of give you guys a heads up on the current things that are going on right now in my life, I just recently dropped a book last week called Little Brother Spiritual Motivation for Christians. And it's doing awesome, man. We're just a week into it, just last Saturday. So, a week out, we've done awesome with, reaching a lot of different people, hearing a lot of positive feedback, getting some reviews on Amazon. So I just want to say thank you to you guys. Thank you for the supporters. I appreciate you guys very much, and I pray for you guys for just going out and purchasing the book. I thank you so, so much. So thank you very much. Continue to support and share and spread the word about the book. Then another thing is that with the book, I created a book soundtrack with my big brother, LeVar Goff, and his artist name is Var Anthony. That's VAR Anthony. And the soundtrack title is called Soldier for Christ. So me and my big brother, because he inspired me to write this book, Spiritual Motivation for Christians, because of everything that he poured into me growing up, inspired me to write this book because I'm the youngest of 3. And I was like, okay, how can I be able to share this knowledge with other people, and spread it to people, the things that I've learned just for free. So that's, again, goes back to the title of the show. The podcast is Free Knowledge. So I want to make sure I did the same thing in the book with Little Brother. So definitely check it out. Again, it's on Amazon. You can look it up by Little Brother, Spiritual Motivation for Christians by Courtney Goff, and that's KOURTNEY as in Frank. And again, the soundtrack is Soldier for Christ by VAR Anthony, VAR Anthony. So check that out. And we appreciate your guys' support. Definitely spread the word about it. It's all great stuff. Edify you on both sides, from the music to reading the book. Things that you can listen to every day and read every day and learn something new about it. And it also pulls you back into reading the word and getting in the word and surrounding yourself with that good energy. So I just want to say thank you to you guys tuning in for the first episode of Free Knowledge. I appreciate you guys very much. Definitely reach out to me on all my social media platforms on here. Talk to me in the comments. I have an Instagram, Courtney Goff Official, as well as a Facebook page called Spiritual Motivation 365. Reach out to me. I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are. I want to hear what topics you guys are looking to talk about. It's not anything that I'm going to go in here and say, hey, I talked to this person, they tell me when to talk about that. Just reach out to me, and if it's something you want to talk about, I could do my research. I could come on here and talk about it, and then we can just put it out there and just have a healthy conversation. So I love you guys. From this point on, like I said, we're family. So this your boy KG and Free Knowledge. First episode, we out of here. Peace out. Love y'all.